this video in 4K. Yep, videos by bikers for bikers. Are you in need of a new battery on your Harley-Davidson Touring? You need to know how to install it, whether it be lithium ion or lead acid. We got your back. Let's get started right now. Welcome back, Bikeaholics. Ryan Urlacher here, lawabidingbiker.com. Thank you for checking back in. That's right, want to save money, wrench on your own motorcycle, be entertained, and be part of the world's #1 biker community? Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that bell icon. Every time that happens, another biker joins the revolution. Quickly, before we get started, you need to determine if your battery really needs to be replaced. Yes, we have a free video for that. I'll try to pop a card over here, link in the description below, on how to easily test your battery with a simple, inexpensive voltmeter. No need to pay your dealership. We're going to show you how in that video. And then number 2, you might consider whether you want to go with a lithium ion or a lead acid. I do a full review, give you all the information. Again, I'll pop a card and link in the description below. Watch both those videos before you install a new battery. All right, first things first, we've got to remove our seat from our touring model. Normally, there's a Phillips screw right at the back or a thumb screw. All right, I've taken my Phillips screw out, and from there, pretty easy. You just slide from front to rear, lift up on the back a little bit, and your seat will come right out. Reason is, there's actually a groove there and a tongue up here. Now that we have the seat off, we can have access to the battery compartment. Why don't you come on in closer and take a look. All right, so now we have access here, of course, to your battery compartment. I have a lot of extra wires that you may not have. Don't get confused about that. I've got heated seat and grips and control strobe modules for my brake lights. Anyways, nonetheless, it's all pretty much the same. This is your engine control module. Just there's a tab right here you can just push. It simply just pops out. That's all you need to really do with this. You can see right there, there's 2 tabs. You just push out on them and that just sits right in there. I just leave that off to the side, out of my way. All right, and then I'm just gonna get some of these wires out of the way so we can see what we're looking at here. You kind of just gotta push stuff around. Again, I have some extras. And I'm gonna grab right back here. We need to focus on these 2 right here. These are Torx 40, and that's all I have is my ratchet on a Torx 40. And I will back both those out. And I'm just finishing up there. I've got both those bolts out of the rear. All right, now you have some plugs. This here, I'm just gonna pop. This is just kind of a dead-headed plug, so to speak. All right, it just pulls up on the tab and it popped right out. I'm gonna kind of situate that out of my way. Then you may have one like this. They can be a little bit different from year to year. This one just slides off. Let me actually get this out of your way. Let me pop these 2 right here, your black and your gray. They're just push tabs on them. You push and pull, push and pull. And now I've got these 2 kind of out of my way, you can see. And then this one up here just slides out. It's just got a little rail system. It just slides in there. There's different plugs like that. So I've kind of just got all that out of my way. That's probably about all that I need to remove. I'm going to pull this. Now the interesting thing about these trays are they're kind of a pain, but you've got to actually, there's a tongue up here and you've got to push this tray forward and you'll see the tongue looking down in here. So I kind of just work it. You may have to remove these, and if you do, they simply are just little Christmas tree. They technically slide out, but I've taken mine out so many times that there's just little Christmas trees. I just popped it out. This actually slides off here if you use enough force, but they get jammed up in there after removing them too many times. So I can just pop them right out. The little Christmas trees, there's 2 holes in this. That gives me a little more freedom to work this plate and really work it up over this front tongue here. All right, and once you work it up over there, then I can get this tray out of my way. All right, now that our tray's out, we've got access to our battery. Very simple. This side on this bike, obviously, touring is the negative side. We want to remove the negative side first here. Just a Phillips screwdriver. Now I've got lots of different accessories on here, so make sure you're looking when you take yours. You may have the main negative, the main positive, which is red, negative black, of course. You may have multiple accessories. You don't want to lose those down in there, and you want to pay attention when you're taking it off here. So I've got the negative off, and I'm going to take note not to lose that little bolt. All right, there we go. And I can see I've got my main negative terminal for the bike, and then I've got 3 accessories that have been added on, things I've put on afterwards. So pay attention to how those were. And a really good trick here that I do is just I take a little electrical tape and I just simply put it around very sloppily there. That way I know I can get those up out of my way to get this battery out, and I'm not going to lose track of those, because you can lose them down in there and then something on your bike's not going to work. So now I'm just going to do the same. I've got this negative kind of out of the way, pushed up in here, these pushed out. I'm going for my positive here, same thing. And I'm going to keep track so I don't lose my bolt. Real quick, guys, if you appreciate all these free videos and what we're trying to do to help the law-abiding biker community, there is a way you can support us. You can become a patron member, lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon. There'll be a link in the description below. You can pledge a certain amount per piece of content that we put out. No risk, because you can put a monthly cap. There are benefits of becoming a member. There's a private Facebook group that's blowing up. There's also access to premium videos and t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, all the information is over. Hit the link, check it out. All right, let's get back into your video. And again with my electrical tape. And I'm going to take note, try not to let these positives hit the metal frame and stuff like that. I'm going to just tape these together like that. I know I have 3 positives over here, and there's my main positive cable for the bike. Again, not letting it hit the frame or anything. Now there's usually a little strap. I've just got mine taped up here, but it's useful. You can just pull up on, because these can get really heavy. This is actually a lithium ion, so it's super light, but it really helps to pull up on this strap. It's underneath the battery, and that will help you remove the battery. All right, and we're going back in with the battery. This is a lithium ion, so it's super light. Make sure your strap is there so that for removing it at some time down the road, get that strap up into there. Just make sure you're not crushing wires. Make sure you're paying attention to what you're putting down in here, and that you have access to everything you're going to need. You can see some stuff got bunched up underneath there. Just kind of peel everything out, make sure everything looks good, and we'll get our terminals hooked up here. Okay, so I'm going to take my negative side, ground side, and of course I've got my 3 terminals here, accessories that I've electrical taped. Get that out of the way. All right, now that I've done that, I can get them all bunched up together the way, however you want that to look. Now that I've got everything managed the way I want, I'll put my bolt through my 3 accessories there. And you kind of got to just push things out of your way, get it back to kind of how it was. And now I got my main, of course, very large terminal for the bike. And I'll line everything up. And with my Phillips screwdriver, I'll go ahead and screw everything down. You don't have to get this extremely tight, guys. Just tight, maybe another 1/4 turn like so. That's plenty, it's going to hold. And of course, I'm going over to my positive side. And again, I've got my electrical tape to keep everything organized. Get that out of the way. And I'll get these organized the way that I want them, or however you have them. Okay, so I've got those organized the way I want them. I'll put my terminal bolt through it right there. And again, I've got my main positive terminal for the motorcycle. I'll put the bolt through that. Then I'll work everything down onto the terminal and get the bolt lined up. And again, I'll just snug it down tight, another 1/4 turn, and should be good to go. So one thing you want to note on the tray is just kind of cutouts on the front here. That's why you want to make sure when you do your accessories and stuff, that everything's kind of going straight out the front. All right, I've got everything tightened down. It's pretty much time to put our tray back on. And this is where you just have to get your wires up. Make sure you're not, that you have access to the stuff you originally had access to. It can kind of get pinched down in there. And I do have a lot of extra accessories. Again, you may not have this many, but I'm just going to do a little wire management here real quick to make sure I'm not pinching anything. And then you just got to work this tray underneath. Again, the front, the tongue goes in there. It can be a little bit of a pain, but just work it down in there. I'm going to get it as far forward as I can and up over that tongue, and you can see it seated down there. And we're going to need to seat it down here properly so we can hit the back here. There we go. You can see it clicked into place. Now I can get my 2 bolts in the rear here. Okay, I've got my 2 bolts I originally took out. These are your Torx 40. I'm just going to get them finger started here on the back. All right, and I've got my wrench now. I'm just going to tighten them down the rest of the way. And this is plastic, so please don't over tighten this. The tray is just to help keep things organized. So that's about as tight as I'll get it there. All right, same with that side. Now we get to put kind of everything back together. And so don't forget, black to black, these are some of your main plugs, some of your rear lighting and things like that. Make sure they snap, click into place. And before I do that, actually, remember I had these little Christmas trees on the bottom. I'm actually going to plug those back into their respective holes the way they were, so it's nice and neat. All right, now I can plug my gray one in, plug my black one in. They only go one way. And I usually put a zip tie around this to keep it a little bit organized. That's my heated seat. All right, now you'll have these. This is your little rails there. It just slides right back on there. And then don't forget we had the one dead-headed plug. And see, it kind of got pinched a little bit down there, but we found it. That's the little dead-headed one there. Goes in like so. And then don't forget your engine control module, just the 2 tabs here, but you can just put one side in. And there we go, it snaps into place. And again, it's up to you, but I'll just zip tie that stuff back in place. All right, and last we're just going to slide our seat back on from rear to forward. Remember, there's a little groove right up here that a tongue needs to go in. There's a tongue right here, so we're going to kind of angle it down and in. You'll feel the tongue kind of go in there. Once you get that, everything will line up right, and we can line this rear screw up. And with my Phillips screw in the rear and a Phillips screwdriver, I'll just simply tighten this back down. Just barely snug is fine. Don't want to strip it out. All right, there you have it. One new battery installed in this touring model. Now get out there and ride. And don't be a chicken. Make sure and hit that subscribe button. Every time that button is hit, another biker joins the revolution.